Hey guys, so welcome back to a new video, and this one, as you can see, is going to be about the Xbox One. Had the console for a week, so I wanted to put up a video, give my initial impressions of the system, the hardware, the UI, the games I've played, the controller, all the good stuff. So what I want to start with is just a bit of history for anyone who's never seen my channel before. With the Xbox, originally, when the PlayStation 1 was out, massive PlayStation fan. Everybody I knew had a PlayStation. At the time, just to give you an idea, where I grew up, the PlayStation was the console. There was no competition. No one had a Saturn, no one had an N64. There was just the PlayStation, that was it. And it was just an absolutely brilliant console, still is to this day. Sony got it really spot on with the PlayStation brand. The advertisements were excellent, the marketing was just spot on. The games were excellent. They had fantastic first party games, they had fantastic third party support. They really knocked it out of the park with the PlayStation 1. So I was a massive PlayStation fan. PlayStation 2 rolls round, I was there. I pre-ordered it, couldn't wait to get my hands on it. I was looking on the web. Well, I say looking on the web. It was very limited what you could look at back then. I got a couple of screenshots of Time Splitters, which were awesome. But yeah, I was really excited to get PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 comes out. Love the console, thought it was absolutely brilliant. Then the Xbox comes out, and I'm seeing all this hype around this new machine from Microsoft, not really knowing what to expect. And there was a cable channel at the time which used to show videos from different events and the odd gameplay here and then, and they were showing little clips here and there of Halo, and that was what really hooked me. I was just like, that looks amazing. You know, you have to remember at this point, first-person shooters on consoles. Okay, we had GoldenEye, but they were never like absolutely astounding experiences compared to the PC when you're playing Doom and Wolfenstein and Quake. So when Halo came out and it was like a full, I mean, it was more expansive than Doom and obviously the FPS games I was used to. You know, you've got a full story, you've got characters, you've got cutscenes, you've got a massive world to explore. I mean, it looked amazing. And I was only seeing like tiny clips for like about 30 seconds, just a minute max. So I didn't really have an idea of what the game was. It just looked really fun. And I put all my money in the pot. I just went, screw this, I'm getting an Xbox. I'm going to take the risk. It's a new platform, it may fail, but I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to jump on board. And I did. And the deciding factor was Grand Theft Auto 3, because I was waiting for that to come to Xbox. If that got announced, I was on board. I didn't want to jump ship and lose out on Grand Theft Auto 3 because I loved it on the PlayStation 2. I had it at the time and it was great. And I wanted to play it on the Xbox. It got announced, I was like, brilliant. So I got my Xbox day one, absolutely fell in love with the console. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic system. The games were brilliant. I was a die-hard Xbox fanboy from the word go. It's just ridiculous. I was just, I was one of them that would just slag off the PlayStation 2 all the time. You know, me and my friends just slaughter it. I've said before in my videos, when Splinter Cell got transferred over to PS2, and me and my mate at work were just ripping it out of the PlayStation 2. It was like, it's never going to work on a PS2. But yeah, this is just giving you an idea of the kind of history I've got with the PlayStation and Xbox brands, platforms. And so, obviously when the 360 was announced, I was absolutely hyped for it, could not wait to get a 360. I was like, this is going to be the next big thing. You know, the Xbox has been such a great console. Microsoft are going to nail it, they're going to knock it out of the park with the 360. I was first one to pre-order at my local game. Got there on the morning of the December the 5th, 2005. The shop opened at, I believe, 7 or half 7, I think it might have been 7. I was there around about 5, half 5 in the morning. Didn't need to be. I was the first one to pre-order, so I was guaranteed a machine. They'd already told me I was getting one. But I joined the queue of people who hadn't pre-ordered and had my flask of tea, having a chat, and the atmosphere was brilliant. So I got my 360. I got home, Call of Duty. I had Call of Duty 2, Condemned, Project Gotham 3, and Perfect Dark Zero. And I was just absolutely blown away. The improvement in the graphics, it wasn't like a massive step up, but it was like a big enough step to make me go, Jesus, this is going to be awesome. This generation is going to be fantastic. So I absolutely loved the 360, and it was fantastic. And the PlayStation 3 came out in 2006 in Japan and 2007 in the UK. I'm never too sure when it came out in America, if it was 06 or 07, I can't remember. But this is where it all went a bit wrong, because I started flip-flopping up until this year, really. In fact, no, probably the last couple of years, I would say. I just basically bought a PlayStation 3, imported it from America, 20 gig model, when it came out, with Resistance Fallen Man, absolutely blew my socks off. That game, fantastic. It looks a bit dated now, obviously, but really, really fun game. Really challenging, just awesome. I loved the story. I thought the characters were brilliant, the enemies were brilliant, the level design was brilliant, the gameplay was solid. It was just an absolutely excellent experience. And so I switched to PlayStation 3. And then I really enjoyed the PlayStation 3. But then the Xbox Elite came out, and I really liked the look of the Elite, so I went and bought an Elite, and I switched back to Xbox. And several times over the years, I switched back and forth between the two platforms. Eventually, I ended up sticking with PlayStation 3. The reason being that, for me personally, the PlayStation 3 offered the games that I want to play. The exclusives that Sony keep getting for the console are absolutely fantastic, and they really do nail it every single time. They've always continued to do that with PlayStation platforms. They always get fantastic titles exclusive to the platform. Also, as a multimedia device, I prefer the PlayStation 3. I've never liked the UI on the Xbox 360. I liked the blade system at the beginning. That was alright because that was simple, easy to use, nice, clean. But over the years, it's just transformed into a total mess, and it was just a pain in the arse to navigate, and I didn't like it. It looked pretty, but it wasn't easy to use. It was a pain in the arse. PS3, a lot of journalists seem to slag off the XMB. I don't understand it, because to me personally, I've seen journalists say that they find the XMB difficult to navigate. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can find that difficult to navigate. A child could navigate that. Someone who's never used technology or gaming consoles could navigate that. It's really simple. You've got symbols, you've got video, music, photos, you've got internet, store. I mean, they're all just really clear and obvious what you've got to do. There are a lot of settings in there, obviously, a lot of options. And obviously, if you go into the settings of the actual video and audio settings, they are a little more complicated, and you do need to do a bit of research if you don't know your stuff, which is what I did. But I've always found the XMB to be a fantastic interface, much better than what the 360 had to offer. So the PlayStation 3 has always been my console of choice for the last few years. I mean, games like Uncharted 2 and Heavy Rain, in fact the Uncharted series and Heavy Rain, now Beyond Two Souls, Heavenly Sword, and you know, there was some really, really great classic exclusive games for this machine. So when this new generation was coming up, before it was even announced, I was like, buying a PlayStation 4, that's it. I was not interested in Xbox, because to me Xbox had lost its way the last few years. The whole Connect thing, the casual gaming market they were going after, they seem to have neglected their core market. People like myself who had supported Xbox from day one. The original Xbox got dropped very quickly in favour of the 360. It pissed off me and a lot of other people. And then obviously in the later years of the 360, all they did was rely on 4 games: Halo, Gears of War, Fable, and Forza. Brain went blank. So yeah, Halo, Fable, Forza, Gears of War, main staples of Xbox. They still will be, I'm sure, but they do feel like they are trying to expand a little bit more now. They've learnt a lesson with the Xbox One. They're actually going to try and branch out, which is a good thing, because they definitely need to do that. But because of that, I lost interest in the 360, and I just couldn't be bothered, and I sold the machine. And I absolutely love my PlayStation 3, and as I say, because of that, I was like, buying a PS4, that's it, I'm happy. Before the machine even existed, I was just happy to buy a PS4, because I know that with PS4 you can rely on Sony to bring the games. It's as simple as that, and that's the thing for me. I'm a gamer. I love my technology, I enjoy all the multimedia stuff, it's fantastic, but at the end of the day the core thing is games. If you ain't got games to play, there ain't no point in buying the console. It's that simple. So when the new generation's announced, I saw PlayStation 4, brilliant, loved it, I knew it was going to be great. Xbox got announced. If you saw my video back then, I did take a lot of heat from people, to be expected, because it surprised me at the time, because my reaction was, that looks brilliant, I love all the multimedia stuff, they're telling me they're bringing the games, they're telling me they've got exclusives, they're not showing them, but fine, we'll get that at E3. Of course the backlash hit and everybody went apeshit and everyone was calling me an idiot and all this, that and the other. It's like, whatever, it's your opinion, there's no need to be so harsh, but if you disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. I'm always up for discussion, just don't be a twat. And unfortunately the internet is full of twats, so you're going to get that. So you're always going to get randoms who find your videos and just tear you an arsehole for no reason at all. I don't know if they get something out of it, or maybe they do, who knows. But besides that, I was really impressed with the Xbox One. E3 roll round, I did my video on the E3 conferences, I was really impressed. I liked what they showed. I thought the games looked excellent. They seem to be on the right track. They're coming out with new exclusives, they're trying to branch out, make an effort. It really looked like a good system to me. And obviously the DRM thing hit and that all went off, and yeah, okay, fair enough. I do agree that a lot of it was ridiculous, and they are forward thinking in the fact that that is probably going to be the future, but at this point in time it isn't the right time to go there. And they should have known it was going to piss off the consumer. It was, especially the used game thing. The used game thing was really stupid. I don't understand what the point of doing that was. However, me personally, it didn't affect me at the time. I said on video that I wasn't that bothered, because at the end of the day, for my gaming habits, it wouldn't really have made any difference to the way I game. But I know that it would have made it difficult for a lot of people. Like if you've got families, it's not a good idea. If you can't sell the game on, that would have been a pain in the arse. You know, if you can't buy used games, it would have been a pain in the arse. It's not fair on families to have to pay £40–50 at a time. You know, if you've got kids, you don't want to be paying that. You want to pay lower money. You want to try and get a good deal. Anyway, they reversed all that, but people are still anti-Xbox One. Obviously, you're going to get that. You're going to get loyalty between brands, which I never understand, because they're a company. They're out to make a profit at the end of the day. They ain't your friend. They're just there. They're a business. They're there to make money. That's all they're there for. You know, some are better at communicating and coming across as a customer-focused company than others. Sony, Microsoft, they're not so good at that. Microsoft are more very corporate, very suited. They have, for me personally, they always seem to have a difficulty connecting with the consumer and coming across as believable. Whereas with Sony, they seem to get the right people up front, selling their products. People like Jack Tretton, who just, there's just something about him. He's got a charisma, and even though he's a bloke in a suit flogging you a product, you forget all that and you believe him, and you know you want to go on that journey with him. With Phil Spencer at Xbox is a little bit better. Then to me personally, they've never been the same at Xbox. You know, since like Peter Moore and I know I'd forget his name. I always do. Oh bloody hell! I've forgotten his name. The little fellow with the blonde hair. God, what's his bleeding name? Anyway, I'll come back to it. But the point is, the Xbox guys, they used to have a core group. There's Robbie Back, there was Peter Moore, and Jay Allard, that was the one, I couldn't think of his name, and Jay. And they were really good at evangelising for Xbox. When 360 came out, if you go back and watch the original 360 E3, when they announced it, and you've got the three of them on there, and Jay Allard's doing a demonstration of the wireless controller, and he's sitting on the floor, and he's just really chilled out and enjoying himself, and it was brilliant. Unfortunately, they then moved, in the later years, they moved to people like Don Matrick, who is a businessman. He's not a gamer. Maybe he does play games in his personal life. I don't know the man personally, so maybe he does. But he never came across like a legitimate fan of the industry and a gamer. He just came across as a numbers guy. So they really need to sort that out. I don't know how they're going to do that. Phil Spencer is a good step in the right direction, as is Phil Harrison, although I still find it weird seeing Phil Harrison at Xbox, because to me he's Sony and always will be. Very odd. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I was going to go PlayStation 4, that was it, at the end of the day. I saw the presentation at first, then I saw the free presentation for Xbox. I was like, hell yeah, that looks brilliant, I want one of those. And when I saw Quantum Break from Remedy, I was like, I have to buy an Xbox One at some point, no matter what. I have to get that console, because Remedy, they make absolutely fantastic games, and I've really enjoyed what they've done, and I really want to see what Quantum Break's about, because that E3 video just looked amazing. So that's going to be a brilliant game. I'm excited for that one. So what was the reason for me picking Xbox One at launch? Now, I did flip-flop back and forth since June at E3. I have gone back and forth. Me and my mate Alex Blutonic78 both been all over the shop with this, deciding which one to go for first, because I am going to buy both consoles. It's as simple as that. I am going to get an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4. It was just his decision as to which one to go for first. Now, that said, I did flip-flop back and forth because I wasn't sure where to go. I was, at launch, initially, the third-party games, the cross-platform games I wanted were Call of Duty Ghosts, Battlefield 4, Watch Dogs. Of course, Watch Dogs got moved forward to 2014, which made it a bit of a pain in the arse. So then I looked at the exclusives, which are the reason to buy a console at launch. There's no other reason, basically, in my mind anyway. I looked at PlayStation. You got Killzone Shadowfall and Knack. I looked at Xbox. You got Dead Rising 3, Forza 5, and Rise: Son of Rome. Now, for me, the Xbox games were way more appealing. I'm not a big racing fan, I prefer arcade racing, but I really like the look of Forza and I wanted to give it a try, so I was determined to give that a shot and see if I can get into it. Dead Rising looked absolutely fantastic. I've never been a fan of the series, but the E3 demo really sold it to me. And Rise, I absolutely love that. I thought that looked brilliant at E3, despite all of the journalists just completely slagging it off. And they continue to slag it off, and they have in the reviews as well. I actually thought that game looked brilliant, and I didn't care about the press and what they were saying because I wanted to play it. It was simple as that. When I looked at PlayStation, Killzone didn't interest me because, okay, it's a beautiful looking game and that is something that drew me in, but it would just be a visual thing. I've never been a fan of the Killzone series. I played number 1, it was a good game, it was okay. I tried to play number 2, but the controls were impossible. I could not aim on it, it was just absolutely impossible to shoot anything, so I couldn't play that game. I played number 3 all the way through because they fixed the aiming, but my god, that game was boring. It was so boring. By the end of the game I was just glad it was over. I just wanted it to finish. It was crap. To me it's always been a poor man's Halo. It's as simple as that. They're never going to match up to Halo. They've got the visuals, but they never ever get a really compelling story and really good fun gameplay. It feels like you're just trudging through it just to get from the beginning to the end, and I don't like that. So for me, PlayStation 4 at launch was going to be Knack. Knack to me was like a throwback to the old school, to the original PlayStation 1, which I know is what Mark Cerny was aiming for. And I love the look of that game. It looks brilliant, and I cannot wait to play it at some point in the future. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, realistically, Xbox has got the games I want. It's more expensive, but it's worth the money. Then I got to a point where a couple of months back, I spent a couple of months just saying, you know what? I'm not even going to go next gen. I'm just sick of modern gaming. I don't like the way the industry's going. I don't find modern games appealing anymore. They're just frustrating for the most part. They're unfinished, and I'm just sick of it all. And I just thought, you know what? I've got plenty of retro. I love all that. The games are fun to play. They're easy to play. They're well built. You know, they're reliable. So what's the point of going next gen? And then about a month ago, I just suddenly got the bug back. I'd stopped watching like game trailers and I stopped watching videos on YouTube for a good 2 months, and I just totally cut myself off from it all. And then I don't know what it was, I can't remember the first video I watched, but I started watching some more content. I've got to stop using that word as well, content. I hate that bloody word. I just started watching videos and watching a bit of game trailers again, watching a bit of YouTube, and I started getting the bug, and I was like, oh, you know what, no matter what I say, I love technology. I love the latest bit of tech. If I can afford it, I like to have it, and I love gaming. And what is the point of cutting myself off when really I want to play those games? There's games that appeal to me, Quantum Break, you know, Rise, Knack, Infamous Second Son, and there are games I want to play. So I thought, that's it, I'm going to get one at launch. It was very late in the day, it was like the beginning of November. I thought, there's no way in hell I'm ever going to get one. But I pre-ordered an Xbox One from Amazon purely because it had the games at launch. I love PlayStation. I will be getting a PlayStation 4 in March. February, March time when Infamous Second Son comes out. I'm hoping to God that we in the UK do get the Infamous Second Son pack that's been announced, because that is going to be awesome. I will definitely 100% get a PlayStation 4. I'm not a fanboy of any system anymore. I'm very impartial. I just like gaming, and I love whichever system has the games I want to play on, I will buy it. So I will own both consoles. So yeah, I went Xbox One, day one. Ordered it from Amazon. Too late, unfortunately. The launch came out last week. Amazon didn't update me and tell me when they were going to get a console to me, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I thought, that's it, I'm not getting one until after Christmas, if at all. It could be a long time yet. So I thought, fair enough. So I went hunting, tried to find one, got lucky, found out that my local game store has got a Twitter account. So I went onto their Twitter account, got their phone number, phoned them up. I said, have you got any Xbox Ones? This was on the Saturday, and they were like, no, we haven't, we've only got the pre-order, so we can't sell anything yet. I was like, fair enough. Later in the day, they tweeted out, we've got some Xbox Ones, we found some more. I was like, brilliant. So I tweeted back, and they wanted you to go to Facebook, but I don't do Facebook, so I couldn't do that. So I said, oh, can I reserve it on the Twitter? And they're like, oh, we can't reserve them, but if you come down at 10:30 in the morning when the shop opens, you'll be alright. So I got down there at 10 o'clock on the Sunday morning, waited half an hour, went in there, bought myself an Xbox One, and I'm going to say it outright, I love the Xbox One. I honestly think this console is brilliant. Obviously it's early days, it is, you know, only a week since launch, but so far very impressed, and I'm excited to see what the future is going to be, and I hope they keep going forward with the games, they keep coming up with these amazing exclusives and really impress us. So the console itself, let's start with that. I'm obviously like 20 minutes in there and I haven't even told you my impression of the console, so if you've stuck with me thank you very much, and I'm impressed. It must be doing something right. The console itself, as I said in my previous video, when I took it out of the box, I like the design. Yeah, alright, it is a big black rectangle box. You can't get away from that. They're not going to win any awards for design. The PlayStation 4 is a much more beautiful looking console. In terms of technology, that is a gorgeous console. But I really like it. I like the half matte and half gloss in terms of looks. I don't like the half gloss in terms of actually maintenance, because it's a pain in the arse with dust and fingerprints. But I actually really like it. I think it looks nice in my unit underneath my TV. You know, the Kinect looks really nice. It's a nice design. I did think it was a bit big and chunky at first, but having had it sit there for a week looking at me, it's quite nice. It looks good. It looks like a part of the kit. You know, it's a nice part of your entertainment unit. The only criticism I've got of the console itself is the USB placement. I can't get my head around the whole USB on the side and 2 USB on the back, because I've got it in a big massive unit and it's on a shelf, which I've got a picture on Twitter of. And so for me to get a USB in the back, I've got to pull the whole thing out, and I'm not doing that. So I'm trying to use the one on the side, which is a pain in the arse because the console's black, so it makes it difficult to actually see in a dark space where the USB is. You have to do it by feel. Not that it matters at the moment, because the USB doesn't seem to work anyway. I don't think they're allowing USB storage at the moment. As far as I'm aware, you can't use an external hard drive, but there is a patch coming in for that, so I'm assuming that that'll work with USB flash drives as well, because I wanted to play some media off it and see what that was like, which is a shame. So yeah, that was the console. So let's talk about this little bad boy, the controller. This is an interesting thing, because to me, from what I've seen online, this is quite divisive in terms of the journalists, not so much us the gamers, because the journalists are absolutely raving about the PlayStation 4 DualShock 4 and how amazing this controller is, and I'm sure it is. And a couple of people I've spoken to on Twitter, like Adam 16-bit Brit, have told me it's absolutely stunning. So I take their word more than I do a journalist. But this is brilliant. I really like this pad. I was a massive fan of the DualShock 3. I thought the DualShock 3 was way better than the Xbox 360 pad. The thing I didn't like about the 360 pad, it was too heavy and the analog sticks were too stiff. And I prefer the looseness of the PlayStation 3 DualShock 3 pad sticks. This is fantastic. The sticks are like DualShock 3 sticks. They're really loose and they just feel so good when you're playing with them. The D-pad is brilliant. Finally, a D-pad that you can actually play fighting games with that actually feels really responsive and firm. Excellent. The interesting thing I've found is that I know Tara Long on Rev 3 Games was saying that she wasn't a fan of these bumpers, because obviously your natural instinct is to do that. But I found it wasn't with this controller, because of the way it's designed. When my fingers go on the triggers like that, they sort of automatically cover the bumpers. So, because you can't click in the top there, they don't click, it only clicks on the side. But because your fingers automatically go that way, because of the way it's designed and the shape of it, it feels really natural. It's absolutely brilliant, because you pull the triggers down and you can rest and go back and forth like that onto the bumpers. So I was actually quite impressed with that. It's really, really good. Yeah, I really like this controller a lot. It's extremely comfortable. It's smaller than the Xbox 360, so it fits nicely in the hand. I don't get as many sweaty hands even when I'm playing for a long period of time. If that's an important thing for you, then that might be helpful. But no, it's a really nice design, and I'm quite impressed with it so far. The rumble in the triggers is a bit weird. When playing Rise, it seems to get quite noisy, and I don't know if it's supposed to do that, but it's a bit odd. But yeah, brilliant controller, really impressed, and I'm looking forward to trying the PlayStation 4 controller there to see what the two are like, to compare the two. And also, look, no chunky battery part on the back, brilliant. But yeah, fantastic, really, really like this controller a lot. So then there's the UI. Now I really like the dashboard. I'm a Windows 8 phone user, so to me it wasn't that much of a leap to use this new dashboard they've come up with. I actually really like it. I like the fact that you've got your home screen, you've got your stuff that you've pinned on there, and then if you go to the right, you've got like your store, your games, your apps, all that kind of. It's really simple, clean, effective. It looks really nice presentation. It's not overly cluttered. You're not going through menu, sub-menu, menu, sub-menu, and just getting completely lost. I love the fact that on the home screen you have a big rectangle, which is what you're doing currently. So if you can have a video playing there, you can have your TV in there, it'll have your game in there. It's absolutely brilliant. You've got your profile on the left there, so you've got all your gamer score and your gamer tag and all of that information. It's absolutely bang on. I really like the way they've done the dashboard. I hope they don't tweak it too much over the years, because I know with the 360 they changed it quite a lot, considerably actually, from the original one to the one you've got now. but I really like what they're doing with it. I really like the Windows 8 look. It's easy to navigate, it feels good, it looks good. It's absolutely fantastic. Now I did have an issue with customization. I couldn't for some reason choose a different colour. Now that is a basic function which I don't understand why that isn't working. And also I found that when you go to the right, all of the tiles were greyed out. And when I went to the store, it was the same thing. Apps and games were all greyed out. And I couldn't work out what was going on. And I was talking to Shock16 and he was like, oh, you've got a knackered machine, as he does. But it turned out all it was, it just needed a hard reset. So I went online, had a look around, a couple of other people had suggested ideas, and one guy said what he did was he went onto Internet Explorer, did a bit of browsing, then he turned off the machine, unplugged it for 5 minutes, and then it fixed it. So I did that this morning, and it worked brilliantly. Everything's back to normal, it's perfect, no more grey boxes, I can change my colours, my gamer pick, everything, it's all working a treat, and it looks gorgeous. It's really good. One thing I will point out, if you do buy an Xbox One, when you initially turn the machine on, if you go onto Google and look for Xbox issues, you'll see this whole thing about the green screen of death. Now basically, when I first turned my machine on, the green Xbox screen comes up with the Xbox One logo, and it just sat there. And it did absolutely nothing for about 5 minutes. And I sat there and I thought, oh shit, my console's bricked. It didn't tell me anything, it didn't do anything at all, there was no noise from the machine. I thought, bollocks, what's going on here? So I turned it off and on again, and I waited. And I waited, and I waited some more, waited a bit more, and then suddenly it went straight into the setup, and it let me do my setup. So whatever you do, when you first buy an Xbox One, you plug it in, if it goes to the green screen, it just sits there, just leave it alone. What I think it is, when you go into the actual console and you do the settings, the power settings in there, like a PC, you have different power settings. Now you've got a setting where you have energy saving, which is what takes a longer time to boot up, or you've got quick start, which I think that's what it's called, if I remember rightly. The quick start option, it basically means, as far as I understand, it's in a low power mode, so it's always on. But it's in low power mode, so it's not using that much electricity. So that way, when you come into the room and you go Xbox on, it automatically just bangs straight into your dashboard, and it works really well, really flawlessly and quick. So I think what it is, when they factory ship them, they must be in energy saving mode, which is why it takes so bloody long to boot up. So whatever you do, don't get worried, just sit there and wait for it. Even if it takes 10 minutes, just wait for the console, because it can be very slow at first. So that's a bit of a disappointment that Microsoft haven't made that clear, and that they didn't do something on the front screen to show like a progress bar or something, or a message just to say, 1 second, we're just booting up, we'll be with you in a minute, or just just something so the customer knows, and the customer's not sitting there panicking that they've just spent 430 quid or $500 on a console that's died, when in fact all it is the software's a bit slow. So that was a bit strange, but there you go. One thing that's really impressed me is Kinect. Now I know that this is very divisive, I know people don't like Kinect. A lot of gamers are, Kinect, it's shit, and I don't want it, and I don't want the camera spying on me and the NSA and all that other crap. Whatever, put all that to one side, right? Kinect is brilliant. The voice commands are so cool. It doesn't work 100%, I'll be honest. Everyone says that, it doesn't. It's about 95% on getting on it. But when it works, it's so cool. I just love it. It's so futuristic. It's so Back to the Future. There's nothing better than just walking into the room, picking up your controller and going, Xbox, on. And then you see the little light on the console, and it goes, bing, and the camera recognises you, and it comes up, hi Pete, and you're like, oh man, that is just absolutely amazing. You go, Xbox, go to Rise Son of Rome, it loads the game up. Xbox, go home, straight back into the dashboard. And the thing I love is the fact when it does that, it goes back to the dashboard, and in the main rectangle, you can see your game. So you've got Rise there on the pause screen, and you can go, Xbox, resume, and then bang, you're straight back into the game where you left off. It's so quick, so smooth. It's really, really impressive, and I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. It really is. It's the future. When obviously time goes by and we have patches and updates and all this, and they smooth everything out, and obviously it's going to get even more smooth over time, I would have thought. It's really good, really, really good. I really do like the voice commands. And yeah, you can say they're gimmicky, and you always get people going, oh, well, you can just use the controller, it's a lot faster. Honestly, it's not. To try and navigate the dashboard, it's so much quicker and more convenient and easy to just talk to the machine. And you don't feel like a twat either. I don't anyway, I quite like it. I think it's really cool. And I found in-game as well, it's really good. I've been using it in Rise, and there's quite a fair bit of voice commands in Rise. They're only simple things like cover me, fire volley, those kind of things. But I have done that several times throughout the game, and they've always worked perfectly. I've only had once where it didn't, and that was it. And I must have done it over 30 times. So that's not bad at all. It's a really good record. It was just recognise it, no problem at all. You do have to enunciate. You have to make sure that you're crystal clear with what you're saying, because it is a machine after all. So it is going to have issues with accents, and obviously local dialects. Like where I come from, a lot of words we cut down and we don't use the correct pronunciation of a word. So it can be a little difficult to try and get out of that and to try and speak the Queen's English and be absolutely bang on. But for the most part, I found it's really responsive. I also found the interesting thing is that a lot of people say you have to shout at the machine. And okay, when it doesn't pick up your voice, you do tend to get a little bit angry and just go, connect. But I have found that if you're quiet, it works as well. I found that just going Xbox on, and it just works. It just picks it up. It's really impressive. Sometimes you do have to have the pause that people keep talking about where you go Xbox on. And it does need that occasionally, but for the most part, I just talk at my normal speed. I'm like Xbox on, and it just goes on, and it works. Or Xbox home, and you're back in the dashboard. It's really, really good. I'm very impressed with the service, actually. I really like the way they've done it. I'm getting the Kinect sports game, which I can't think the name of. I'm getting a demo of that because I want to see what the whole motion thing is like, because I'm not really into the gaming part of Kinect. I'm not that interested in it. I like the voice commands in, like, I was going to say normal games, but you know what I mean, non-motion, wave your hands and dance around your room games, jazz hands. Yeah, I'm not onto all that crap, but I just wanted to try a demo just to see how responsive it actually is with the water skiing and things. So yes, very impressed. Love the dashboard. I think it's fantastic. I hope they don't tweak it too much in the future. I think the voice commands are absolutely bang on. It's just so futuristic and so cool to be able to talk to the console. And the actual speed of the machine as well is really good. It's a lot quicker than I expected. It's very smooth. The people have said, like journalists have said about loading times on games are criminal. I don't really find it. I mean, I've only played Call of Duty Ghosts and Rise. Call of Duty Ghosts, pretty quick. They're not bad. They're about, I don't know if they're a little bit faster than last gen or about the same. I don't know. They weren't like to the point where I was like, oh, this is doing my head in. I'm fed up of waiting. They were fine. Rise can have fairly long loading times sometimes, especially when you die and you have to reload the level. It seems to take a while. But they're not excessive. They don't piss me off, so it's not that bad. But yeah, that's fine. Other than that, I'm just really impressed with the console. I really like it. The graphical capability is excellent. I think the games are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, these are only launch games, so you know, 12 months, 18 months, 2-3 years down the line, the games are going to look nothing like this. They're going to be so far ahead. You know, you only have to look at the last generation. I mean, compare Call of Duty 2 on Xbox 360 to Call of Duty Ghosts. Looks like two totally different consoles. So, you know, in 10 years' time, who knows what the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 games are going to look like. But yeah, very impressed so far. Don't believe all the bullshit and all the hype and all the anti-Microsoft crap, because at the end of the day, if you like to look at the games and you want to play them, buy an Xbox One. It's as simple as that. Don't listen to all the fanboy bullshit on both sides. Both consoles have a lot to offer. Both consoles are brilliant. They have great games in the pipeline. PlayStation doesn't have great games at launch. It has Knack, which is a good game, not a great game, and it has Killzone. Depends if you like Killzone, but I mean, you know, whatever appeals to you, whichever one you prefer, buy that first, and if you can, buy the other one in the future. That's the way I'd see it. So I'm just going to quickly talk about the two games that I've played so far. Played Call of Duty Ghosts, completed this the other day. I really like this. I did not expect to like this at all. I was actually thinking of not buying it because I'm sick of Call of Duty games because they are all the same thing. And I hadn't seen any reviews or anything. I didn't know anything about the story, about the gameplay, what the levels were like. I didn't know anything. So, me being me, I only play the campaign. I don't do multiplayer. I'm not interested. I really enjoyed this campaign. It was fantastic. The story, couldn't care less. It was typical Call of Duty, throwaway bullshit. Doesn't really matter. Not interested. But the actual level design and gameplay was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it all the way through. The only thing I wasn't keen on were the bits in space and the bit underwater. I thought that was boring, slow, unnecessary. It just didn't do it for me at all. But the rest of the game is absolutely spot on. The gunfights were great. The level design was great. And I've heard journalists refer to it as a best of COD. And it really is. You can see elements of like Call of Duty 2, bit of Black Ops, you know, the Treyarch games, which is Black Ops obviously, but they also did the World of War game and the Modern Warfare games, and it's sort of like a mashup of all of the Call of Duty best moments. And I really like that. I think it's really good. It's a really fun title. I did find it a little easy though, which was a bit strange, because normally Call of Duty you get hammered by shitloads of geezers and they just keep spawning at you, which didn't really happen in this one. It was a lot more sedate and a more traditional first-person shooter. I really enjoyed the game a lot, and it looks gorgeous on the Xbox One. I know when I first played it, I knew it wasn't a true representation of what this machine can do, because I have heard that it's not that much of a step up from last gen, and I didn't really expect that with Call of Duty. I don't play Call of Duty for the amazing graphics, you know, that's Battlefield. Yeah. So I played that one, really enjoyed Call of Duty Ghosts, had a good couple of days playing that. So at the moment, I'm just coming to the end of Rise Son of Rome. This is a fantastic game. I do not understand the journalists. I mean, I understand their reasoning for slagging the game off in terms of its repetitiveness, but then that doesn't make a lot of sense to me realistically if you think about it, because it is a hack and slash game. It is a Heavenly Sword God of War game. That's what it is in Roman times. So they are repetitive by nature. That's what that type of gameplay is. But I do not understand why they are so down on this game. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a fantastic launch title. Graphically, it's an absolute showcase for the Xbox. For anyone who comes around like your family and friends, you can go, look at this. This is what the next gen's about. I mean, it really is that step up. It's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And the thing for me is the facial animations, both in-game and cutscene, and especially cutscene. Jesus Christ. I've always found last generation, it was sort of like nearly there. The mocap and everything, and the lip sync would always be a little bit out. And not always. Some games, you know, like Uncharted, are pretty bang on, but it was never completely 100%. With this, oh my god, if this is what the future's going to hold for the next generation, or the current generation as it is now, I cannot wait. I really can't wait, because it was absolutely brilliant. Lip sync was bang on. Every little emotion in the face, their eyes, their lips, their cheekbones, just their forehead, everything, just it was just amazing. It was like watching a film. It really was. It's absolutely brilliant. I know Rise is getting like slagged off for its not so great story, and it's not historically accurate. I don't know much about Rome. It's not a subject that's really ever interested me, so I've never read up on it. You know, I know as much as the next man, like the very basics about Julius Caesar. I don't really know much about it at all. I actually thought the story was good. It was well acted. It was well presented. It was interesting. It wasn't original. It wasn't something I hadn't seen before. It's not, you know, fresh, but it served a purpose and it did it well. I thought the characters were engaging. It was a really good, you know, presentation, and the graphics just blew my mind. And the as I say, the facial animations, you just sit there and go, holy shit, look at that. It's just stunning. But at the end of the day, ultimately, the most important thing is gameplay. This is really fun. I'm not a God of War fan. I can't stand God of War. I've tried to play them all and I can't get into them at all. It bores me silly. And yet, Heavenly Sword, I absolutely adore that game. It's brilliant. I don't understand why, because they are essentially the same thing. You know, it's just literally just chaining combat moves together, attacking multiple people and defending yourself and blocking and rolling out of the way. Yeah, and a bit of puzzle elements here, there, and everywhere. This hasn't really got puzzles. This is literally just a hack and slash, and a really good one at that. The combat is really tight. You can't just button mash. You've got to get used to chaining your combat together, chaining your different moves, using your shield and your sword effectively. You can't just chop at them, it won't work. You've got to get used to getting your timing perfect and blocking as the other enemies attack you. And when it flows and you get it and you nail it, it's so much fun. When you've got like 3 or 4 guys around you and you're beating the one guy with a shield and you smack him with your sword, other guy comes to the side, you go bang, put your shield up, knock him out of the way. Next bloke comes up, take him out of the way, take him down, get the old finishing moves. The finishing moves are brilliant. That's another thing that journalists keep slagging it off for, is the old quick time moments, as it is. And they are quick time moments. Instead of a big X, you just get the colour of the buttons. You get blue, yellow, green and red. But I don't care. It works really well. And not once in the whole time I played this game did I ever get bored of the quick time moments. And I hate quick time moments with a passion. I've said it many times on videos before when I've talked about games. I can't stand them. They drive me insane. But it works really effectively on this game. It's really well done. And I absolutely love the finishing moves. I've never got bored of this game once yet. I've played it all the way through to the end nearly. I'm literally I can't be far from the end now. I'm not entirely certain how far I am from the end, but I would say I've got to be close to the end credits at this point. But I don't want it to end. It's that good. And I haven't played a game like that in ages, a modern game that's maybe just go, oh man, I don't want this to end. I really hope they make a sequel. It's such a fun title. Bollocks to all the reviews. The reviews, they're not talking about. At the end of the day, if you like the look of the game, buy it and play it. I reckon it's well worth the money. I really do. I was talking to Shock16 on Twitter. He's the same. He's been playing it and he's going, I don't understand this. Why is everybody slagging this game off? And he's right, because it's fantastic. If you like hack and slash games, or even if like me, you're not a massive fan of hack and slash, I would definitely give it a try. If you like arcade action and you just want to beat people up and just finish them and chop their arms off and have blood everywhere, it's just, and have it look absolutely beautiful while you're doing it, go and buy Rise Son of Rome. For me, it's absolutely worthwhile buying the system for that game. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic title. Really impressed with it so far. So yeah, I'm loving the Xbox One. I think you can pretty much get that from this video. Very impressed so far with the system. Seems like a step in the right direction for me, like Microsoft have learned from the tail end of the 360, and that they are starting to get back on track. And it feels more like the original Xbox to me, like the freshness is there again. I hope I'm right, and I hope they do continue to be like that. Maybe it's Phil Spencer, because he seems to be quite a really good advocate for the platform, and someone who's really pushing for, like, you know, fresh new IP, and just, I really like that. I think that's great. I'm excited for the future, let's put it that way. I've been watching a fantastic YouTuber, Fagan RS500, Sean. I've watched him for a long time because he's a retro channel, but he picked up Xbox One and PS4 in the last 2 weeks, and he's put up some absolutely fantastic videos for both consoles. Really, really interesting videos. He did the unboxing, and then he did post videos as well where he talked about his thoughts on the systems. Then he put another video out last night talking about two systems together and which one is best and his opinion on that situation. Absolutely great guy, really nice bloke, fantastic channel. If you've never seen Fagan RS500, go down to the description, click on that link, go and watch his videos, because the guy's brilliant. As I say, he's primarily a retro channel like myself, but he does do modern as well. And if you're interested in someone's opinions on 360, PS4 and Xbox One, go and check out Sean's videos, because the guy's brilliant. Really fun to watch, and he knows what he's talking about. Let's put it that way. He's excellent. Yeah, fantastic. Love Xbox One. If you're on the fence and you don't know what to do, and you're leaning towards Xbox One in terms of the games, but you're not sure if you want to go next gen, if you've got the money, go and buy it. You won't be disappointed. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic console. And obviously, if you're leaning towards PS4, get that as well, because that's a brilliant console as well. Both systems are fantastic. When I get a PS4, I'll do the same thing with that. I'll do an unboxing, or play it for a week, and I'll do a video about that as well. I'm excited to try PlayStation 4, and I'm excited for this generation. This is what we've needed for a long time, a refresh. You know, it's been a long time coming, this new generation of gaming, and I'm excited to see what's going to come. I really think that this could be something special, that this could be the evolution, this could be where gaming really does evolve. And the cinematic experience is going to get even better from what I can see on the cutscenes of Rise. It's so impressive, it really is. So I haven't played Forza yet. I've got that to play next. Once I finish Rise, I'll play that. I don't like to switch between games. I like to play one at a time to completion. So yeah, that's my next challenge is Rise. Rise, if I got it on the brain, is Forza 5. Yeah, brilliant stuff. So there you go, guys. If you're not sure if you want to go next gen, you're thinking about it, but you're not 100% convinced. If any of the games on either platform interest you enough to want to buy it, just go and buy it. Honestly, if you can get a console, just go and get one. You won't be disappointed. I've been really, really impressed so far. Yeah, and hopefully it will continue to be that way. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a long one. Thank you if you stuck with me to the end. And I look forward to your comments below. Even the fanboys and the lunatics who are going to find this video and just slag me off. Thanks, guys. See you all again soon.